Hey guys, I spoke at a event this morning for recovery and suicide awareness, and my husband was supposed to record it for friends and family that are out of town or those that could not meet for it or had other things that they had going on, and he forgot. So I figured that I would read it really quick. I still have it out in front of me. Um, Apparently people there resonated with it. I had some people that came to me and thanked me for speaking, which was wonderful, and a couple of people that said that it really resonated with them, and I'm hoping that it resonates with more of you as well. Some may question why I'm speaking today when I have no history of drug or alcohol addictions. How could I possibly understand? This is a fact that I now embarrassingly admit was something that not long ago I was incredibly proud of. Felt justified while looking down on those who did not Felt justified while looking down on those who did with secondhand shame, as I downgraded and easily dismissed their struggle with a simple, it's their own fault, they need to help themselves attitude. My blatant judgments made up a hypocritical ignorance, added to society's outlooks on addicts, and mixed with the enthusiastic praise and approval given by society for those who work themselves to the point of exhaustion, those who give up a huge portion of their lives for the gain of others, while the whole value of a person is seemingly only measured in monetary ways. All of these pacified my own self-soothing and harmful addictions. The best definition of addiction, in my opinion, is from the amazing Dr. Gabor Mate. Any behavior that a person craves, finds temporary relief or pleasure in, but suffers negative consequences as a result of, and yet has difficulty giving up, is the definition of addiction. He follows this up by saying, addiction cannot be understood if we restrict our vision of it to just substances, legal or illicit. I take this doctor's definition of addiction as another reason to encourage us to stop being judgmental towards each other. To those who have simply adjusted to life's difficulties and their darkest moments differently than we have, I can understand the need to escape that unspoken pain, to shut out the overwhelming feelings of guilt and worthlessness, to pause the world, if only for a second. Unknowingly to me at that time, my own need to constantly be on the go, working 2 full-time jobs, running to the rescue of anyone I knew in order to just gain their approval, while still living up to the high expectations as a wife and a mother. Right at the edge of burnout was my refuge. My escape from the war zone going on within my own mind, while effectively hiding just how much I was actually struggling with my own mental health. I had no idea that this was how I had adjusted myself as a young child in order to survive every day reality of horror and abuse. However, as an adult, trying to function as a capable and independent person while desperately clinging onto the only way I have ever known to contain that war zone going on in a never-ending loop, replaying within my mind, becoming unbearingly loud as soon as the world became even a little quiet. I truly believed I had it under control. I had overcome my past all on my own. The adults of my childhood had not won, but I was completely overlooking the days on end where I felt no emotions, even towards my own children. How the smallest of inconveniences felt like the end of the world with no hope for the future. That is, until one morning when I woke up to find that I was unable to move my legs correctly. Overnight, I had lost my security and the identity that I had always depended on to keep that war zone on mute, allowing it all to flood in, dragging my useless body headfirst into a chaotic and overwhelming battle zone. Entirely helpless as every one of my shields were stolen, forcing me to face my greatest fears, my worst nightmares, and every insecurity all at once. A deep depression, self-loathing, with a firm belief of complete uselessness built a tall and strong world around me. Half of my days were spent in a distractive haze, with the remaining hours spent in seemingly uncontrollable, distorted whirls of disassociation, where I would direct my seething hatred at those around me until they all ran away, and I could once again point it inwards. During one of those increasingly normal times, when I was coming back out of my too familiar days on end stay deep in the dark sink pit of my mind, to find a sharp blade was pressed against my wrists as tears fell silently from my almost robotic eyes. It took me more than a few moments of shaking the fog from my head and squeezing my eyes shut to realize I was the one that was holding that blade. That I had come back just in time. In that very moment, if I had simply been in a different place, if I was someone who needed others around me during times of struggle, if I had even a momentarily small fracture in my need for control, I cannot honestly say that if any of those things were different, if I had been offered any way to take even a small part of my pain away, that I would not have taken it. I had gone 4 days without a shower, without brushing my teeth, without food, without anything to drink that did not contain caffeine. And the absolute worst realization of all, it had been even longer since I had given any of my children even a warm glance, never mind a hug. Somewhere in the blur, I had become a watered-down version of my own abusive and neglectful parents, and I needed to do for my children what my parents never did, for whatever reason, for me. I needed to take responsibility for the mistakes I had made, admit that I can be wrong. I have to face my past even when it's cluttered in extensive and early trauma and severe abuse. I had to learn and accept that my brain had been wired in order to survive just as a young child. But that way of thinking was no longer serving me. I am now an adult in a safe home with the ability to take control about any situation in my life. I am not relying on anyone in order to survive anymore. And it was time to take control of my own life and be whoever and whatever it was that I wanted to be. After 3 years of intensive trauma therapy, I now know where the negative beliefs that I had all the faith in since childhood actually came from, how to better control them, and then the power to give those horrible words back to those who originally and wrongfully spoke them to me. I found the imperfect but beautiful human I always truly was underneath the baggage of complex PTSD, and I am now a trauma-informed spiritual life coach with a mission to bring awareness and education to our community members struggling with their mental health due to trauma. It is my hope that we can all learn who we are underneath whatever unhealthy ways we have adapted in order to simply survive to the next moment. Can we find each other in that place and focus more on our similarities in order to help each other through this darkness? It should never need to be done alone. I hope you guys find that helpful as well.